I will, in any case, I will start by saying who from the audience is working in the corporate side? Please raise your hands. Okay, and how many of you are developers? Okay, that's cool. Then my background is from the corporate side, and life moved me to the technology side, and now I'm learning how to develop, but not just because of the development, but because I realized the importance of completely understanding what are the key points when you are trying to adopt state-of-the-art technologies in the corporate side. And APIs, I don't know if this is, maybe, I'm so sorry. Nope. It's not. This. Yes, please. Don't worry. Then, give me 2 seconds, but when we are talking, who from the audience know what's an API? Who use an API for something? Okay, then we are starting in a good way. When we are talking about the adoption of these technologies, and this is not new, AR and VR are not new technologies per se, but now the capacity of the computers and the mobiles and everything allows the companies to use this for the daily things. Then this is how the adoption of the corporations, and give me 2 seconds because I want, sorry. Around 50 years ago, the world and the corporations started to use augmented and virtual reality in different ways, or tools that are very close to what we call today virtual and augmented reality. And they were not adopted quickly and in all the areas of the businesses just because computing capacity was not good enough, and the equipment and the devices were not good enough to distribute and to do something really efficient with it. But since 2 years ago, we were starting to really see solutions that were practical for the world, for the business world, for the enterprises, for the industrial use. And we started to talk about the dreams, how we were envisioning. When we were here 2 years ago, we were talking about, well, what will be the future of this? How this will be advancing? And last year, we were not just talking about the dreams, but about the challenges. What will be the biggest challenges on how to distribute the content? What will be the quality? What will be the software that, how to create standards? And well, we started to create those as a community because I really think, well, all of the ones who are here are interested in this industry growing. And we started by seeing those challenges and solving that. And it's amazing how many of those challenges were solved in the last year. Now there are standalone headsets. There are many of the things that we were looking for or we were dreaming some years ago. And the interesting thing is the investment is coming very well into many companies, into the industry. The big companies some of those are at least curious. Some others are doing big bets on the industry, and some others are exploring how to do it. And even when the numbers started and everything started to move, traction is still poor. It's not enough to make this company grow as we want it to grow. And as we are companies, I mean, I'm from the side of the ones giving services for the corporations or giving product for the corporations, we want this to move very quick or move quicker. And one of the main questions is why this is not happening. What's keeping the companies ahead of it? And one of the main points is it's not always easy to understand how to use it, but it's also, there are many products and many things, and the corporations and the corporate world used to have procedures, very standardized procedures, and that's how you scale a company. In a startup, you can adapt and you can change things very quick, and you can start doing something new because it requires leadership, but it doesn't require to change the structure. But in big corporations, and how many of you are from big corporations, the ones with super standardized procedures, the ones who are, when you arrive to the company, you receive a complete training on how to do the things. And if you need to know how to do something, there is a form for that. And that's very important in the real world because it's how you can scale industries and you can guarantee the final result of the things, of the operations. Then when we have in one side the small companies creating, or smaller companies, some of the companies that you meet here were very small 2 years or 3 years ago and are now big companies, but I will talk about the startup mode of these companies. And you take on the other side big corporations, the ones who are contracting and buying the Pareto of the software for enterprises. And you try to mix both of them, and you try to connect both of them. The big question is why this is not happening sooner. We can envision the problems. We can see how we can really solve many things. If you walk the floor tomorrow and Friday, you will see many solutions, many important solutions for many of the key problems that industrial world has. But why they are not adopting it? And one of the main answers that came into my mind was, well, basically because the software, the enterprise software that they already installed for many things, the ERPs, the CRMs, the LMS, all the different systems are done by incumbents. And they were paying big amounts of money to do all the ETL process to move from the past world to the current world. It's not necessarily the future world. That's how the topic came to our mind of how can we start helping in that connection, that interaction between both worlds. And how we can, what will be a key point to make big companies, here we are. But I already told you many things. Do you remember, that picture is really interesting because, of course, when you were talking about 5 megabytes, and you were talking about that equipment, that was a thing. Now we already have the power to do more things. Then this is what we were talking about. The opportunities 2 years ago, we were seeing many areas where we could grow and so forth. And then we found 1 year ago what I was mentioning about the challenges of the industry. But we saw, if you see this, the big play was, well, now it's going, not yet, yeah. The big play was in video games, live events, video entertainment, all the early adopters. The enterprise world and the industries are not early adopters. Why not? Because they need to change many things if they want to adopt something new. They don't want to pay any more ETL processes to move to a new wave of technology. This is a hard decision in the corporate world. And we have this question, who will pay, what's coming first? The market is there, but how we can move it? Is the enterprise the one who must move and start buying, or are us as startups the ones who need to understand the corporate world to give solutions that are quickly adaptable or adoptable by them? And one of those things is, I don't know if you have in mind the numbers, but around 80% of the enterprise software is sold by around 10 companies. It means there are not that many players. And of course, they can't increase their ticket very quick because they can't move that quick. Then we are in a place where we can start creating that. And they don't want to be connected to more new things. Every time we are talking with clients and every time we are talking with corporations, the technical teams and the technical people is telling us, a new app? No, I refuse to use a new app. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do a new adaptation of my things. Then if they are not able to do it and we need to grow the market, how are we planning to move? That's where the game comes, the API game comes. Basically, if we are able to move quicker as we are, because we are startups, and we know how to solve something that they really need, we can do really great alliances with the incumbents in software for enterprises. And I really think it could be a win-win game for both sides. We were talking about many topics that VR and AR are able to be connected. When we were talking around 5 years ago about Internet of Things or big data, and today we can show to the enterprises the data because of AR, and they can see the things, and they can understand why Internet of Things is there, or if I'm flying a drone, capturing data and converting it, or sensors, and I'm using that data today, augmented reality is a way to show that. It's a way to visualize what is not that easy to understand if you are not a technical person. The marketing teams, or the commercial teams, or the design teams that are not usually necessarily coming from the technical background can start integrating all these technologies by using VR and AR. And if you see all the participants in this event, you can find people who is working with things that could be connected with many of those. When you were asking me, what's my company doing, what's our company doing, I'm one of those. But today, I don't want to talk about our company. I want to talk about our industry, about startups in our industry, because I really think it's a big opportunity to create collaboration. There are many other industries where collaboration is not a rule, but I really think that we have different skills that if we know how to integrate, could be really interesting for the market, for the industries, and for the technology itself. Now the APIs play as I was mentioning. Since 2005, APIs were like doubling every year, consistently. That's a lot of APIs. And all of them are good. There are some that are terrible. And that's a big part of the thing. Nobody wants to use APIs that are not well done, that are not well documented. And that's a big part of the challenge we have now. If we could have APIs visible, what's for what? How can I use this to connect with this in a way that it will really solve the need of the company? There is also a play around the price, about the added value that it will give to my industry, how I can obtain things or results or visualizations or products or solutions from the company, from the enterprise side, from the corporation side, using APIs that could allow me to use many different tools from startups, but at the same time could integrate in my final dashboard that I already have from an incumbent software. Then basically what I'm doing today is kind of a call to connect the parts between startups who are here, startups who are producing sensors, hardware, software, data analytics for this industry, and people who is understanding the complete chain and being able to develop APIs for these industries. There are many challenges. I will tell you a story on why we were including these images. These are real products that we were selling. And we were selling, at the first time we were trying to close the deal, giving the company only our platform, only our solution. No, I want you to use my platform. No, but I already use this. And no, but our platform is really good. No, I only want to use mine. Then the challenge and the discussion about the APIs and how to solve the problem for both sides. How to allow the corporation, like that's the app for the World Soccer Cup for Telemundo, NBC Universal. And they were like, no, we don't want a new app. People already has our app, and we don't want something new. We want just to integrate the solution. Yes, we want to try AR, but we are not able to change everything from scratch. Then a big part of the alternative that we gave was integration of both parts. Building an API to connect their app with our solution and then playing it into a third party's solution. And the other one is an excellence management platform. Of course, it's easier to work with smaller companies too, because they can adapt. But I really think that from our experience, from what we were seeing, it's really important to know that the companies and the incumbents need something else if they want to integrate with VR and AR solutions. And our bet is on APIs. Basically, I think I will open for questions, but my point, I will just retake 3 points. One is incumbent software, ERPs, CRMs, LMS, all those corporate and enterprise softwares are already installed. They will not change everything because they want to use our software. If companies don't adapt to XR, they will die. Then how we, as the industry creators, could use this opportunity to build a new space of collaboration between companies and, well, the door to access that market. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.